The film opens at a large, bustling indoor swimming facility where Perry, a determined young woman, is actively training. The facility manager emerges and posts a notice announcing the pool's imminent and extended closure for the holiday period. Patrons immediately begin gathering their belongings to leave. Perry, needing to focus entirely on her critical training session, removes her engagement ring and places it into her gym bag. Moments later, Perry's younger sister, Jonah, arrives, having just returned from a long rehabilitation stay at an addiction treatment center following an incident 4 months prior. Jonah joins Perry in the water and they begin training together. In another section of the facility, Clara, a cleaner, is caught stealing money from the locker room. This is the 3rd time the manager has apprehended her. Having warned her repeatedly, the manager informs Clara that this is her last day of employment and instructs her to clean the pool deck before collecting her final paycheck. Time passes quickly and the closing announcement is made. The manager urges everyone to prepare for a swift departure. As Perry gathers her possessions, she discovers that her engagement ring is missing from her bag. Jonah spots the ring lying at the bottom of the pool, caught within a drain cover. Perry immediately dives back into the water, but the ring is tightly wedged and cannot be easily retrieved. Seeing Perry linger, Jonah descends to assist her. Simultaneously, the last patrons exit the area. The manager checks the pool deck, seeing no one and failing to notice the 2 sisters submerged beneath the surface. He proceeds to the control panel and activates the automated fiberglass pool cover. Disaster strikes when the water pressure from the suction drain pulls Jonah's hair toward the grate, trapping her and preventing both sisters from reaching the surface before the heavy cover completely seals the pool. Perry and Jonah return to the surface, but it is too late. The cover is a strong, reinforced fiberglass barrier that resists all their efforts to break it. Panic sets in. Jonah chastises Perry, screaming that they risked their lives for a stupid ring. A sense of despair overwhelms them, escalating their tension. The immediate danger is compounded by the fact that the manager has also left the facility, cutting off all external aid. Perry confesses to Jonah that she desperately wanted the ring as a symbol of her seemingly perfect, achievable life, a life she wanted to show off to her sister. They discover a small hole in the cover, but it is too small for even a hand to pass through. Jonah explodes with resentment, admitting her profound jealousy. She reveals that while she was suffering alone in rehab, Perry was celebrating her engagement, planning her wedding, and neglecting her sister during her greatest time of need. As Jonah's bitterness and envy intensifies, the tension between the sisters becomes almost unbearable. Perry deduces that Jonah was the one who deliberately threw the ring into the water. However, Perry suppresses her anger and redoubles her efforts to retrieve the ring, needing a moment away from her sister. After a final struggle, she succeeds in freeing the ring. The sisters agree to stop fighting and focus on survival. Perry believes they can use the heavy steel drain grate as a tool to smash the fiberglass cover. However, the grate is too heavy for her to lift. As time quickly runs out, the pool lights automatically switch off. Perry's phone begins ringing repeatedly from her fiancé, David. Since the phone is in her bag outside, she cannot answer. Jonah mocks David, suggesting he should be searching for them instead of just calling, and reiterates her long-held distrust of him. Perry suddenly clutches her head, confessing a 3-year secret. She has diabetes. She explains that if she doesn't receive the insulin from her bag soon, she will slip into a diabetic coma. The situation has become critical. Jonah suggests they use a small plastic shard they found nearby to enlarge the hole in the cover. All their attempts fail due to the plastic's weakness. Jonah notices burned scars on Perry's arm and asks why Perry isolated herself from the family. Perry, resigned, reveals a dark truth. Her stepfather, an alcoholic, frequently abused her mother. To protect her mother, Perry set the house on fire with him inside, killing him. This revelation explains the painful, hidden details of Perry's past. Suddenly, they hear the door open. It is Clara, the cleaner. Clara realizes the sisters are trapped, but also notices the security cameras are still active. She quickly disables the cameras to ensure her theft cannot be proven. She approaches Perry's bag and steals the phone, cash, and credit card, claiming to be helping them. Perry and Jonah, desperate, assume Clara will rescue them. Clara, however, asks for the PIN to Perry's credit card, shocking the sisters. They question her motives. Clara confesses her past in prison, her children, and the crushing debts she cannot pay, claiming she has no choice but to steal. When the sisters refuse to give the pin, Clara threatens them by turning off the water heaters, rapidly cooling the water. Perry, fearing a diabetic coma, gives Clara the pin in exchange for a promise of rescue. Clara agrees, but states she must first withdraw money from the ATM. She leaves, abandoning the sisters. The sisters wait, hoping she will return, but Perry's condition quickly deteriorates due to the frigid water. Jonah dives down and frantically tries to lift the heavy drain cover but fails. Rising to the surface, consumed by self-loathing, Jonah declares herself a coward and useless. The sisters embrace for warmth as they spend the long, cold night in the pool, the water temperature dropping dangerously low. The next day, Clara returns, mocking their predicament. She reveals she only managed to withdraw $80, confirming the limited funds in the account. Clara threatens to let them die. In a burst of rage, Jonah decides to punish Clara. She feigns tears and asks Clara to lean closer to the hole to hear her. When Clara approaches, Jonah swiftly stabs her in the ear with the sharp plastic shard. Clara screams, rushes to a mirror to assess and stop the bleeding. Infuriated by the attack, Clara retaliates by activating the automated pool cleaner. The device pumps highly concentrated chlorine into the water, causing the sisters to struggle to breathe. They scream for help. Realizing the danger, Clara deactivates the cleaner. She approaches them, stating she has nothing to lose, and demands Perry's diamond engagement ring. Perry, exhausted, surrenders the ring. Clara takes it and leaves the facility to think. Jonah breaks down, blaming herself for everything, but Perry comforts her, reminding her that this is not the time to collapse. Perry begins to hallucinate due to her deteriorating condition. Suddenly, the pool cover begins to open. David, her fiancé, appears, seemingly their rescuer. Perry looks for Jonah, but she is gone. The hallucination fades. Perry realizes she is still trapped. She finds Jonah attempting to harm herself with the plastic shard. Perry intervenes, calming her and promising they will escape together. At this moment, Clara is testing the diamond ring and checking Perry's phone. She finds multiple messages from David, including a voicemail saying he is calling the police out of concern. Fearing arrest, Clara returns to the pool and forces the sisters to promise they will not report her actions, or she will leave them to die. The sisters agree. Jonah apologizes for stabbing her ear and begs Clara to free them so Perry can have her insulin shot. Clara forgives them and proceeds to the control room. She discovers the manager has changed the security code. Frustrated and terrified of the arriving police, Clara tells the sisters she has failed and abandons them again. The sisters endure their second night in the pool. Perry falls unconscious from the lack of insulin. Jonah desperately tries to revive her. Perry, in a weak voice, confesses that during the fire she actively prevented her stepfather from escaping. Jonah, unable to bear the thought of losing her sister, focuses all her energy on rescue. She retrieves a towel from Perry's bag and ties it to the drain cover to gain leverage. After multiple failures, she finally lifts the heavy cover, but as she rises to the surface, Perry is submerged and sinking. Jonah quickly administers mouth-to-mouth resuscitation until Perry revives. Jonah gathers her strength, uses the heavy metal grate to widen the hole in the fiberglass cover, cutting her hand on the glass. In a final burst of effort, she lifts Perry out of the pool and administers the insulin shot. Suddenly, Clara appears with a gun, threatening to kill them both before the police arrive, fearing they will send her back to prison. However, Clara lowers the gun, returns the diamond ring to Perry, and is clearly overcome with remorse. Jonah immediately calls the police and an ambulance for Perry, urging Clara to flee, promising not to mention her to the authorities. Perry awakens on the ambulance stretcher. Jonah hands her the ring, thanking her for never leaving her. The sisters embrace, joyous that they survived the ordeal. Perry is taken to the hospital. The film ends with the two sisters having faced their darkest secrets and found a path to redemption and reconciliation.